So we dug into this a little bit further. So when prompted, across these different services, do you think these utilize or currently using AI? 70% of consumers did recognize that perhaps social media and digital voice assistants were using them quite regularly. Navigation apps like Google Maps, Google search engines were also, over half of consumers recognize they were probably using AI. But what's more interesting is down the bottom here, where we see less than 40% of consumers thought that email utilized AI, obviously using that fairly regularly, and also more sensitive areas of their lives, around their finances and banking apps as well. And I guess, Royce or Sam, did any of these particularly surprise you in terms of the share of people that assumed these were using AI or not?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, given that AI is not technology that's new. It's been around for decades in lots of different forms. So I was actually in a webinar the other week, and then the AI engineer was talking about how its seeds were planted during the 1950s, which really surprised me. But fast forwarding, I mean, it's been there in the internet era or the social media era. And it's the first time now that with the acceleration, like you said, of ChatGPT, AI has turned something from a technology to mainstream awareness that everyone knows about. Not everyone knows what it's used or how to use it, but we have been using it all this time, like you say, in our email banking apps. I feel we're not aware because these technological advancements have kind of gradually happened and very smoothly from the point of view of the consumer, where AI was always in the background. It was kind of invisible, and since it wasn't really a big topic of conversation, it was a lot more unreachable. AI was a big mystery. I mean, it still is kind of a mystery, but we're using it a lot more. But yeah, so consumers didn't really think twice, I don't think, about it being part of everyday items and apps that they use. And the same goes for today. I don't think it's hard to imagine that it's part of basic things like email and banking apps that we use every day.
I think to follow up on your point there, Royce, I mean, the really interesting one for me was email. Like, that's something that everyone uses, and you use it so in mundane ways that are embedded in your daily life that you wouldn't even stop to consider necessarily what it's doing. Even things like, the spell or the word additions, where you're typing a sentence and you can see like the next suggested word appears. That's happening, and people are seeing it and using it on a day-to-day basis and not making that connection necessarily that is in fact AI powered behind that. So I think things like that really give an indication of how habituated perhaps we can become as a society to this. And I would imagine that over time, these are going to go, up and up and up and up as people start to slowly, or rather awareness of how much they're using might go down while usage goes bigger and bigger. So that gap that Craig mentioned, perhaps it will only continue to widen as it gets smarter.